Breaking news. We don't get to say that very often on Hammers Chat. We have breaking news. And that is that the in the knows that are in the know and that count have confirmed that West Ham have reached an agreement with Manchester City for the loan signing of Kalvin Phillips. However, there's a twist because two of the bestest in the knows, there's a slight disagreement, Gio, on what they're saying.
Yeah, David Ornstein versus Fabrizio Romano. Both are agreeing that the deal's done. West Ham have agreed to deal with Man City. Kalvin Phillips is on his way back from Dubai. The medical's booked for tomorrow. They're in agreement with all of that. The only thing they're in disagreement with is the option to buy part. Let me just read it on quickly. David Ornstein, who tweeted first, said, exclusive. Of course it is. West Ham reach agreement. Man City signed Kalvin Phillips. Loan until summer. No buy option. Personal terms fine. West Ham covering full wage. Juventus exploring, but no agreement to date. He's flying back to the UK with the Man City squad. Fabrizio Romano stated, his tweet was, Kalvin Phillips to West Ham. Here we go. A loan deal agreed with Man City, and also on player side, one more from Tim Steiden. Understand it will include an option to buy clause in June for West Ham. Medical test booked for Wednesday, and he tagged Turkish Airlines.
What have Turkish Airlines got to do with it? Maybe that's the sponsor.
He's flying back with Turkish Airlines.
Oh right, he doesn't get the private jet treatment. He doesn't get the jet. He's in economy class, isn't he? With one of those sort of dodgy microwave meals. Hey, who cares? If he's having all that wages and there's a big loan fee, then we need to claw back the money somewhere, don't we? It's exciting, Gio. Absolutely excited about this, actually. I think he's a really good player. I think he'll suit West Ham really, really well. And I'm quite pleased that even though two people have broken the news, they're able to use the word exclusive. So I'm probably going to do so on this video as well. Hey, do you know what I mean? You can't have to be
Romano didn't say exclusive.
Oh, didn't he? All right. He was second
but
to
he
it.
Did his here we go phrase. He did his here we go phrase, which is the stamp of approval from Fabrizio Romano.
I think we're going to have to try and come up with a pithy catchphrase, actually. But I'm buzzing about this, Gio. Look, we spoke about it this morning on Patreon when we did our mug of tea. I think you're pretty much aligned with me. There's a bit of negativity around this transfer, but I can see only good things. I know you're the same.
I've got some concerns, but they're overshadowed by the positives in regards to the transfer. Yeah, I think it's a really good transfer. I'm looking forward to it. I think we needed a player like this. And while I don't fully buy into what the club say in regards to it's difficult to buy in January, I do think it's harder to buy in January. So when an England international comes up that you can get for a few months for a few million, you've got to take it, in my opinion, and that's what we're doing here. We're getting cover for Edson Alvarez, competition for Edson Alvarez. So I'm not going to downplay Kalvin Phillips' ability here. His ability is not really the question; it's his fitness. Is he ready to rock and roll? He's barely played for Man City, and will he remain ready to rock and roll for the remainder of the season because of his injury record? But in terms of his actual ability, I don't think there's much question about that. If Moyes was to insist on playing Souček and Ward-Prowse, Phillips is good enough to compete with Edson Alvarez. Now, that's not what I want to see before someone starts picking that apart. That's not what I want to see. But this is how good a player we're signing. This is a player that can go into our first 11. And I think if you can buy someone or get someone in January that's good enough for your starting 11, I think that's a significant signing. And I think that's exactly what Kalvin Phillips is.
Yeah, and I think on both parts. So I think he takes Thomas Souček's place would be my suspicion. We won't know until we see that first game, so to speak, and when everybody's fit, of course. But I also think that the team doesn't fall apart when Edson Alvarez isn't there, because Alvarez has very quickly established himself as a incredibly important part of how the team functions at West Ham. And when he doesn't play, we do sort of crumble a little bit. So I think that would eradicate that thought process. You made the point earlier that we're getting a leader with this guy as well, which is maybe something that the team is quite possibly lacking as well. And I often see the argument. It's funny, you if you read enough stuff on social media and you read enough comments, you'll see people bemoaning the squad depth. But then when we get linked with a player like this, people say, well, hold on a second, where's he going to fit into the team? And I've heard a number of people say that it almost doesn't matter where he does. I know what I suspect will happen. But all he's got to do is put one player on the bench. We've already demonstrated that we cannot cope with 11 players, because once they get injured or unavailable for be it suspension or African Cup of Nations or injury or anything else, we're in a bit of a pickle. I think a player of this caliber really gives us something to go on to. And I think you just got to ask yourself the simple question. Does Kalvin Phillips, and let's take my example, let's take Thomas Souček out of that team, and let's put Phillips next to Edson Alvarez, Paquetá's in the team, Kudus in the team, Jared Bowen's in the team. Is that an improvement on the team when Thomas Souček is there? Have we improved? And if the answer to that for you is yes, it certainly is for me, then that's got to be really good news, because we're in sixth at the moment. And if what we want to do is get a fourth season of European football, I think this is a really good thing. And I know, some people are concerned about the. I do like the way it's been attributed to Tim Steidten, though. I think most of us can read between the lines. We're not giving Tim this one. That's why he's not got on the jet. It's a Moyes signing. Moyes.
The thing is, right? Maybe he's done a negotiation.
Maybe. But the thing is, when it is a Steidten signing, they get in the jet. Like Ward-Prowse, I had to bring Ward-Prowse from Southampton in my van, as everybody knows that watches the channel regularly. So yeah, I don't know. Look, do you know what? Ultimately, I couldn't care less. I'm actually excited about this, and I do think the loan option, whether it's an option to buy, forget that for the moment. A loan is a good bit of business. We do not know until David Moyes signs that contract whether he's our manager for next season. We can suspect, we can hint it, but at the moment he has a five months left on his contract. And if what we've done is we've gone and signed Kalvin Phillips for 5 months, I think that's the sensible thing to do.
Yeah, I don't disagree whatsoever. If Moyes is here next season, Phillips works out and there is an option, great. If Phillips works out and Moyes goes in the summer, we've still got an option, and great, the new manager might want him as well. Likewise, if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, regardless of David Moyes, we can say, no thanks, we don't want him, pack him up. I hope there is an option just to give us that opportunity to sign him for an already agreed price. I would get the impression maybe there wouldn't be one, because it feels like it's been done quite quick in the last 24 hours. I know we've been interested in Kalvin Phillips for the last week or something, but I think I get the feeling that talks have significantly increased over the last 48 hours, which is coincidentally after we watched that Souček and Ward-Prowse partnership against Sheffield United. Maybe someone's going, right, I've had enough of this. Get on the phone to Man City immediately before he goes to Man U. Get on the phone to him and let's get this this sorted out. But I'm really happy, Gonzo. Really happy.
I've got to say, if I was West Ham, I would have, and he was out in Abu Dhabi, I think I would have hired a television technician, sort of interrupt his internet signal when we were playing Bristol City and stuff like that, so Kalvin Phillips couldn't watch us play. And as terribly as that, so the last time he's seen us play was in our little good run before we started.
I'd have done the opposite. I'd have rang him up and say, "Did you see that, Kalvin? Look, you're going straight into that midfield. Get over here now. Come on."
Yeah, I'm just worried he's thinking, that's a standard of things. I'm not coming. I think, well, let's just look at it from Kalvin Phillips' point of view, just before we wrap up and get this uploaded, what with it being an exclusive and all. I think for him, this is a good, West Ham are a good club. I think, it's easy to look down on ourselves, I think. And then sometimes, particularly with the negativity around David Moyes, there's an easy assumption that everybody hates playing for David Moyes. And David Moyes' system suits nobody. Well, you can't have it both ways. If your system doesn't suit attackers, then you have to sort of, it does give the opportunity for someone like Edson Alvarez. He must love playing for David Moyes. He gets to be a superstar in a team as a defensive midfielder. He's got nothing to do if he plays for a tippy-tappy team, right? Who's keeping the ball all the time. I think Kalvin Phillips is going to really, really do well. I think for West Ham, I think it'd be good for his career in the same way that the loan was a really good move for Jesse Lingard. It's not West Ham's fault it didn't work out for Lingard. That's Lingard's fault. Whatever happened. He actually, the idea was to come to West Ham to resurrect his career, get into the England squad, get back in Gareth Southgate's awareness and consciousness. That all worked. What happened thereafter, that should not diminish what happened in the loan. And I'll tell you what, Phillips should be looking at this. And again, I'm not playing at the moment, but if I go to West Ham, not only to get Premier League football, I'll get regular Premier League football, and I'll get to play in the Europa League as well. And I'll get, it almost ticks every single box for him. And he's going to play for a manager who really likes him. And he's going to see a lot of action in that central midfield area.
Yeah. The Europa League one's key. He can be, before someone asks, he can be registered for Europa League, even though he's played Champions League. I mean, you could have played for Europa League. It's for someone else, you can still be registered. And he's guaranteed minutes. There was a lot of talk that Phillips is going to go where he's guaranteed minutes, and there was some rumours last week which didn't really get highlighted much, but there was some suggestion that Phillips is keen on West Ham because Moyes has wanted him so much in the past. It's a case of, well, that manager has really wanted me, so I'd probably fit in to his plans. And as we know, Moyes doesn't like giving players assurances over minutes, but I do think, a bit like Jesse Lingard, I do think Kalvin Phillips might have been given some, and he might not need some, actually. I always think the top players probably... I would be surprised if Lucas Paqueta wanted assurances from Moyes that he was going to be given game time. Lucas Paqueta would have thought, I walk into that team. I don't need the manager to tell me I'm going to play. I know I'm going to play. I'm good enough. I wouldn't be surprised if Kalvin Phillips has got a little bit of that about him, which is, I know I will play at West Ham. That manager's wanted me for a long period of time. I'm going to go straight into there. And this is why I think it's important that we get someone that Moyes will play straight away. And he will with Kalvin Phillips. We play Bournemouth a week on Friday. I expect Phillips to be in the starting 11. I expect him to be put through a harsh training routine over the next week or so that come the Bournemouth game, he's ready to rock and roll. And when you spoke about Souček being the one that drops out, I don't, as I say, I don't care. I do. But I don't want to see the same 3 for every single game. We shouldn't have a one god fits all type thing in midfield. Some games will require Ward-Prowse. Some games will require Tom Souček. Some games might actually require Alvarez or Phillips to sit on the bench and the other 3 play. I don't know, but it gives us options, which is something we don't have at the minute. The options at the minute in midfield are Alvarez, Souček, and Ward-Prowse have to play. And if Alvarez is the one missing, the other 2 become a double pivot, and it's not good to see. Phillips just opens it up, and even if Souček was the one to go to the bench, and Moyes has shown he will drop Thomas Souček. When Lucas Paqueta arrived, Souček went on the bench. Granted, it didn't take long for Moyes to bring him back in, but we were losing games at that point. Moyes returned to Thomas Souček pretty quickly, but he showed he was going to do it, and he also subbed Souček as well. He was also taking Souček off, because we still remember the game that if Souček first got subbed off, he looked shocked. Even he was a bit like, hang on, is that mine? What number am I? I forgot what I am. Hang on, no, that is me. But say Souček goes on the bench, our bench gets better. How many games have we played this season where you're looking at it, at the options, you're thinking, there's nothing there? Well, actually, it could be that in a month's time, if we're needing a goal, on the bench, we've got Mikel Antonio, Thomas Souček, and hopefully an attacking player on there as well that we purchased in the January transfer window. Suddenly we've got 3 players capable of coming on and doing something for us in the game. Because at the minute, is our option against Sheffield United was Ben Johnson. That was our attacking change.
Wow. And very good. Very good he was too.
Just so you know, there's almost like a 3rd exclusive coming out. Let me just get it for you.
Triple exclusive.
Well, yeah, it's Steph. My friend Steph. You know Steph. My friend Steph just messaged to say Sky in Germany. I'm willing to use Steph as a source because she's not going to trip me up. Steph said Sky in Germany are reporting it's a 48 million euro buy option.
That's what I was saying, like 34 million quid, something like that.
A bit more than that, probably about 36. But then if you add in the loan fees, just over 40 million quid, probably.
Yeah, look, we'll deal with that another time. That is the conversation about the sale, but we actually do have another conversation about a slightly different sale, and that's for you at the moment, because on Hammers Chat, and I'm talking about hammerschatstore.com, we got a sale going on because we got some Europa Conference League clobber to sell, haven't we, Gio, at a massively discounted price and a free book to give away.
Do you know what's funny? Ornstein's just done a tweet. And it's the same as it was, but he's removed the no option to buy. So I think there's now an option to buy.
Okay. Imagine if he removed the exclusive.
Yeah, it was not
anyway, you interrupted. I was plugging the store.
You plugged the store. On you go.
Well, I just did, and you bloody rudely interrupted me. I was saying we got merch, we got clobber, we got Europa Conference League clobber selling on the cheap and a free book, haven't we, Gio?
Yeah, everything from our Europa Conference League merch is discounted. Everything's discounted, including this, not this exact t-shirt, but this design is, and like Gonzo said, the player ratings books are free. Just go grab one. There's
mugs,
plenty.
T-shirts, loads of stuff, beer mats,
prints,
really
Christmas
cheap.
Jumpers, cheap.
Like I saw in my local pet shop, I drove past the other day and it said birdseed going cheap. Hey, clever. And he also had written in short, tortoises going fast. Little cheeky sense of humour from the pet shop owner there.
I hope he tweeted about his birds.
Oh, very good. Well, he may or may not have tweeted. Certainly, Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano have tweeted. They're amending them as we speak. We don't know whose exclusive it is. We're going to claim it as our own because everybody else seems to be doing so. And we can definitely, 90% definitely, we're not going to 110% tell you that there appears to be a buyout clause of a yet undetermined sum. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget, click thumbs up on the video, like and share and all that good stuff. It's probably not good stuff, probably boring and tedious, but we'd really appreciate it if you do it. Cheers, Gio.